Hello, everybody. My name is Diana, and this is the webinar about how to make your site more accessible and user-friendly. First, I will show you the presentation, just several slides about theoretical part to make you more understandable about why it's important and what we're gonna do. So I will share with you the slides that I prepared, and this is some information about me so that you understand better why I'm telling you about these and why I have a knowledge and experience to share with you. So I studied in Bauman University in Moscow, where I got a bachelor in biotechnology. So I studied a lot about disabilities and how people with disabilities, they see the world, how we can help them, and how their experience changes, their online experience changes according to their disabilities, how it affects it. Then I moved to France and I studied here for my master degree in Centrale Supélec and École Polytechnique. And so I have a master degree in biotechnology. And since that time, for 6 years, I work as web developer. I work with the clients, with the companies, with entrepreneurs. And for the last 2 years, I concentrate on web accessibility, how to make sites accessible and user-friendly, and how actually to change our online space in order to include everybody and to make it more understandable and to make sites more optimized, because actually it all is connected and the user experience help to optimize your site and to bring more potential clients. So now we'll dig more into this, what it means. I will just shortly mention what is web accessibility and why it's connected to user experience and what is user experience. So accessibility means that your site should be accessible for everybody, for people with different disabilities, for people who can't understand particular language, which all of us, I guess, we cannot speak all the languages, but the site should be accessible for us. Or for people with temporary disabilities, like, for example, nobody is safe from breaking an arm and not being able to use the mouse. So all the sites should be accessible through the keyboard. And there are different disabilities, like what I mentioned on the slide, like there are visual disabilities or disabilities to hear information, or motor disabilities, like, for example, Parkinson's disease, because the focus will tremble all the time, or cognitive disabilities, which are connected with, for example, ADHD or autism, or actually all of us, we all will become older. There are overall, I think every fourth person in France right now older than 60-year-old, and they, like, we them right now and we in the future, we will have some changes with our health and our understanding um, correlated to the age changes. Like it will be harder to concentrate on the information if it's long, or there will be a problem with our eyes. It will be harder to concentrate, or we will need to put extra attention, or literally it will be hard to hear the information on the videos, and if it's not represented in an alternative way, so we will not be able to understand what was there. You might think that it's just for a small percentage, but actually there is a huge amount of people worldwide who need site to be accessible. And I will show you some more about the numbers. So the global impact is more than 1 billion people with severe disabilities. And if we're talking about non-severe disabilities, like people who just have color blindness, it's not considered that something with which you cannot work or cannot do some things, but still it affects. If you have a button on your site which says, press the link with the red text, For some people, it's not red. They don't see this red. For them, it might be green or it might be black. So it's important to remember about this. Or for Parkinson disease, for people with this disability. So for them, if you have a small button on the side, they will not be able to press on it because it will be hard to put focus on it. Sorry. And it's proved that there is economic impact, and companies, they lose overall 7 billion annually due to inaccessible sites. So we're not just talking about moral aspect or about a particular user experience that is very rare. No, we're talking about many people who cannot use your service or your site, or who cannot buy your product even though they're interested in it, because it's not accessible. So you're losing a lot of money. And accessibility rules, accessibility guidelines, they are connected with optimization of the site, with SEO, and search engines. They place your site in the search results according to how it's coded. So if it's coded properly and according to accessibility rules, this will not just be good for user experience, but it's also about your positioning and your ability to bring potential clients. So there is win-win-win situation, and I will tell you more how to code your site properly. So now we'll show a short video about one site. So I used extension, disability extension that shows how the site looks for people with different disabilities. So it's one thing to just say it, another thing to experience it. And now we'll help you to experience this experience. So I just take the site with the Sians, and so that's how it looks for all of us, for people who don't have disabilities, and that's how it changes if for people with total color blindness, with lower color vision, and it becomes black and white with some green gradient, gray gradient, sorry. So we need to remember about the meaning of the color on the side. And it also can be like, for example, tritanopia, so yellow, blue color blindness, because these colors, they are taken away from the site. Instead, you can see red and green. This opposite, it's protanopia, so red and green, they're taken away from the site. So people, they cannot see it, and instead they see yellow and violet and blue. Or for example, people who cannot see the text which is close, so they can they have a problem with hyperopia, and this is one of the most common visual impairment. This is a tunnel vision, so for this reason, it's important not to have widespread text. It's better to concentrate in small paragraphs on the site for easier reading. And that's how people with this disease, they see the site. Or we can see, like, any of us can read the text under the sunshine. So we need to avoid small text, so that all the elements, they should be big as possible, and we need to concentrate on color contrast, the sufficient color contrast. This is Parkinson's disease, so we can see that that's when the focus is trembling and it's hard to focus on the elements. So all the links, buttons, interactive elements, they should be as big as possible for people with motor disabilities. This is dyslexia, so it's disability to interpretate the words. So you can see that they're all changing. So the sentences, they should be shorter and focused on the main purpose, and the text should be as big as possible, and you shouldn't use difficult, complicated words. Or small vocabulary. For example, I came from another country, so for me, French language, I don't really have C2 levels, so the simpler words, more understandable, the better it is for user experience. Concentration problem, ADHD or autism, so that's how it looks for people with these disabilities. And You can see that it's hard to concentrate on the sides. Some phrases, they disappear, some appear. You can think about the food, that you are tired. So it affects the way how you, what is your experience with the site. And we can help people to make it better, to make this experience better. Now we'll go back. So this is the main screen. This is me. And now I will go straight to the practical uh, practical examples. So some of you already send me the links to your sites that you would like to check, and I will try to do this online. It's important, the first impression, and we'll go through this all together. So now we'll show you the sites, and we will take a look at how accessible they are. Okay, I hope that it will open the right one. Yes, it opens the right one. I hope that you can see it. So we are on the site. This is one of my colleagues sent me this site to check its accessibility. So it's approved by Academy of France, and it's about online manuals for children at school to use. First thing is for all of us, you don't need to be an expert. You just go through the top of the site to the bottom and see if you are feeling good on the site, if everything is understandable, if there is anything that makes you feel uncomfortable or hard to understand, or you need to put extra attention with your eyes or with your ears, or it's too fast moving. You need to understand whether you're comfortable with the site. So that's what we will do. So I can see that there is a main title and there is a white background, which is good. The color of the text is black, so I can read. And I see that it's quite long, and there are a lot of text. There are no other elements, just links and text. And the text is full screen, so it has a wide so it's hard for people with the tunnel vision to read, because they will need to go from the left to right throughout the screen to read it, which is quite energy taking. And yes, I can see that there are a lot of links. It's really hard to, I feel a little bit bored, and it's not really interactive to go through these. I was checking before that there are around 400 links on this page, just on one page. So it's huge, and it's not structurized well. So we really go through, I don't understand what is the, I don't know, maybe I have a lack of focus, but I don't understand what's the difference from one part to another. And to read all of these sentences, that's a lot. I would prefer it to be structurized better, or to make the page structurized in 3 parts, so that there is one part and with subsections, another part with its subsections, so it's easier to find the information. Here it's all just taken out, and you have to deal with it by yourself. This is problematic. But overall, at least it's good that it's black and white and it's accessible. There are no scrollable elements which are not accessible. We can see, let's check the structure of this, the headings map. So yeah, there is a problem. It even starts, actually, they don't have H1 level. H1 is the main title of the site. That's how searching agents engines, they analyze your site and they understand what is about the page, literally. So it's like the title of the book. If there is no title of the book, we cannot buy the book, because we don't understand what it is about, even if it's very attractive, just the cover, which probably many people, a lot of people, they do it, but still we need to have the title even to put it on the particular shelf about the same content with other books with the same content. So here it doesn't exist really. The title, it starts with heading number 4, not number 1, which is a big problem. And then we go actually to 3, then to number 2. So it goes opposite direction. I will explain better. So, like, for example, if we are thinking about the book, I think book is a good analogy. The book has the name, then it has the name of the first section, then subsection, and so on. And you can see that it all increasing. So there's the biggest title, the title of the book, then the smaller for section, then smaller for subsection, then there is a text, which is the smallest. And this is all logical. So we go from the biggest title, biggest size, font, color, style, and then we go to the smaller one and most standard. That's exactly how in the site it should be. It's not just for accessibility, it's also for user experience, for all of us to understand what is. And it's also important for search engines because that's how they see your site and they read what is about. So if you don't have it, then this is the big problem. And here on the side, there is such problem. If we go just to take a look at one page, here, for example, so there is some quiz and I will just try to access it with the keyboard. Let's take a look if it's accessible. And yeah, if I go, can I open, can I choose vrai or faux in this quiz, for example? So, and I see that I go down to the links, but I couldn't really open it, which is a problem because this is the most important function of this quiz. So there are big problems on this side already here. And yeah, so this is the first site that we checked, and there's a problem with the structure. There are no problems with the contrast because it actually didn't have some elements, didn't have images or buttons. It was clear text on the white background. So it's obvious that there are no problems with the contrast. So now we'll go to the next side. Okay. And I will go to the site that was sent by one of the participants of this webinar. And so this is the site ABPA. Let's take a look all together from the top to bottom and see if we find it readable, understandable, comfortable. So I already see that there is a slider, and for example, the slider, if it changes the slides automatically, it should be not faster than 5 seconds. Because people, they need time to read. Like, for example, for me right now, it's hard to read what is on the slide. I cannot finish. It's too fast. I go 11th Concours International and that's it. Like, I cannot even continue. So I need to wait. It's too fast. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, it's, I think, 3.5 seconds instead of 5. So it's too fast. We need more time in order to read the information and concentrate on each slide. This is the problem that I see. Or for example, here, I already can see, well, I'm sorry, I already focus on some elements. Let's go from the top to bottom, like I said, and then we will go more into the details. So I like that it's beautiful, the images, they have good contrast, and the button, even though there is a big contrast, the bad contrast when we focus on it, so it actually becomes with a good contrast. This there is a text, so it's fine. It's not too small, it's readable, and it's black and white. This is good. Then we see that there are some images. Here I can see that it's white text on the green. Most probably it's not accessible. It's not good to read. If you just jump with your eyes from the text below, black and white, and then to formation, you can see that your eyes, they need to put extra attention to read this text. So it's not just for people with disabilities, it's also about user experience. It's harder to read when the color contrast is low. It should be at least 7.5. And we will check later how it is. So here there are some interactive elements. Okay, this is a little bit strange. I never saw such link jumping or changing the way it is doing now. This button, it's a little bit small. Like you can see that the height of the focus and the height of the button is almost the same, which is quite small. It should be at least two times the height. Like for example, here, acheter de billet, it's better for accessibility and it's easier to focus on it, to press on it. It shouldn't be too small, the buttons. Here we also see the buttons, they're a little bit smaller. Like here, the button is better rather than Lire Plus. It's going to be hard to press on it. Here, the focus, we can see that the footer, sorry. So here, it's quite good. There's a lot of information. There's a logotype with the color is light, so it's light green on the black background. So I'm sure that this one is accessible, but of course it's better to always check. And there is the button to go to the top, which is good. It's good for accessibility. So let's check this color contrast. Is it sufficient or no? I have some doubts, but we will see. Okay, I will just make it responsive. Oh, okay. So there is a problem with responsiveness of the design. Okay, so we go to the mobile. I don't see even the left, like I don't even see the name of the site. A is lost. You can see that you need to scroll to the right. Yeah, there is a big problem with accessibility just for the mobile version and for the tablet version as well. You can see that I cannot go to the left. This is the most to the left here, and I cannot read what the site is about. This is the problem. Yeah, this is the problem. So there is a problem with this site about this. Okay, but let's try to get the color. Okay, so here is the color 78 78 B857. And let's go to the site. I'm sorry, I will just try to open the there's a little problem for me because I cannot see with the video. I cannot really open another site. Okay, let's open. There are a lot of color contrast instruments in the internet, and we will just try. So we have foreground color, which is font color 78B857, and the background is white. White is just 6 times F for this color. So we can see already that the color contrast is 2.39, so it's hard to read. It should be, as I mentioned, at least 7.5. And what I like about this site is that on the right you can see AA, and AAA, it's the standards for accessibility. And you can see whether the site, the color contrast of the site is following, whether it's acceptable or no. So here it fails for all of them. So it's not accessible. This is too light. On the white color, on the white background, it's hard to read it. And that's what we see here. Okay, so this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable, and this is not accessible. And the same on the buttons, and the same here with formation. So I would say that here this is the problem, and let's see the structure of the site, the headings. Okay, so I see that there is one problem. We have two names of this book, of this page. So there were used two H1 levels to code the name of the site. There is AVPA and Agence. There are two of them, but it's very big problem because the automatic robots of search engines, they read through H1 level, and it should be just the one. The book cannot have two titles, like we cannot have two covers. It's the same like if the book would have two covers, one book, two covers, and they don't understand how they need to, where they need to put it, what it is about. Like for example, if we have just a name AVPA, the search engines, they don't understand what it is. For them, it's just two letters. This is the problem, and it should be changed, and it affects the positioning of the site, optimization, and the ability to get potential clients. There are also other problems, like, for example, here on the slider, I guess. There is a problem because we have H5. So even though it's H2, which is good level for the first section, we have then H5 level for the text, which couldn't be, it should be logically H2, H3, H4, and so on. And for the text, we shouldn't use heading level. It should be just text. So it's not coded properly, which affects the user experience and accessibility. Now we'll try to show with different disabilities how the site look for people with different disabilities. For example, for total color blindness, that's how it will look. And you can see that actually light green color changed to light gray color. And it's hard to read when it's light gray. So we need to concentrate more and put extra attention. But overall, I didn't see here some instructions about press the green button or something like this, which is good. So there are some problems, well, quite big problems, but it's not something that cannot be changed on the site, and it's readable. Let's take a look, for example, farsightedness. So it's really it's small, like we cannot really read the elements, and this is the most common visual disability. So this is one of the most important that should be taken into account. So all the elements should be as big as possible. And let's take a look, for example, on Parkinson. So what about the buttons? Like here right now, my focus is trembling. I'm trying to focus it like on the button. Well, here I can, but it's not easy. It's not easy. It's jumping, but I think it's gonna be much, much harder. Like voir tous, like it's long, but the height is too small. I cannot really put the focus on it. So that's how it looks. Yes, but overall, it's quite accessible site. There are just some changes that should be done as soon as possible in order to make it accessible and better user-friendly. Now we'll go to another site, the last site that we will check today, and this is the site that was sent, the link that was sent by one of the participants of this webinar. So it's Pravoslavi Data Fair, and I will take a look with you from the top to bottom about the experience, how the site is seen, and whether there are some things that we don't understand or make us feel uncomfortable about the elements of the text. So here I can read everything. There's a lot of space, and it's white on dark blue, so it's very good. There are no elements that interrupt us from reading. And the text, what I really like is that it's not widespread on the screen. It's good for tunnel vision, for people with tunnel vision, so they can read it. And yeah, it's quite good. The thing that I see that there is a link article, which is light orange. So it's hard to read light orange on the white background. This is the thing. And it's also small. So for people with trembling, with Parkinson's disease, it will be hard to focus on this element. If you have links or the buttons, any interactive elements, it should be as big as possible. And yeah, so there are not a lot of elements on this page. The footer, I would say it should contain more information, but this is just for user experience, so that there are not just links, but also maybe information like with address, with what to do next, or subscribe, or the contact form here. This could be nice, but overall it's white on the black background, so it's good. Okay, and now we'll take a look at the structure. Okay, so it has H1 level heading. So we have our name of the book, which is great. But the name of the book is chosen here, this, which actually, I think logically, it's more like the name of the subsection. It's the first sentence of the site, but this is not really the name of the site, right? I think that it's better to have, like, for example, the name Pravoslavi in the left, in the left top corner of the site, which will be coded as H1, and better to write like the site about something, so that you explain what the site is about for search engines in order to be optimized and to be positioned higher in the search. And but at least we have H1 heading, which is good. Could be worse. But after H1, we can see, I don't know if you see the extension on the left that I opened, but that's why I explained what I see as an expert. So under the H1, we have H3, which is not logical. It should be, the structure should be from H1, then H2, then H3, then H4, and so on. So there are some problems. And yeah, and the same problems, they are here. Yes, under H1. So we have several H1, which is also a problem. And these are just two main sentences, so they shouldn't be coded as the name of the book, as the main name of the site. This is the problem, and it's a big problem because, as I said, so it will put down the site straight and it's not going to be positioned good in the search engine. So this should be changed, and I think that, so in the top left corner there should be H1, the name. Then the the sentence découvrez should be H2, and the same should be for commencer. They should be both programmed as H2. Sorry. And then we can use H3. Yeah, I think this is great, like articles and podcast, what is written here. It's coded as H3, and I completely agree because it's subsection. So we have a section where we commencer sauver, and then we go to subsection in this section, which is very logical. It's just that this section is not coded the right way. But now we can take a look how the site look for people with different disabilities. Like, for example, we can try total color blindness. So that's how it looks. So it all become black and white with gray, with some gray elements, and even the images you can see, because you might think that it's just about the text or about coded elements, but it's also about the images. Everything become black and white. Yeah, but overall, as there are not so many elements on this page, we can see that there are problems with the structure and with the link. And I would say something with the footer should be just more elements on the footer. It seems like quite empty, but overall, I really like the placement of the text. And let's take a look how big is the text. So I will check what is the size. Is it too small or no? It should be minimum 14, the size of the font for the text. And here we can see that it's 14, so it's accessible. It's great. And yeah, the site is quite good except for some changes. Yes, so that's what we did. I showed you the practical tips of how to make your site accessible. I would also like to mention as the last part, those who don't have a site and want to have a site, You can use different platforms, for example, Shopify for e-commerce sites, for which means the sites on which you want to sell something, your services or the products. Or you can use WordPress to create a landing page, but this for people who at least a little bit know coding. I will explain why. Of course, with such platforms, you can use different instruments and you can create the site that you want with the standard design. But if you want something like more stylish slider or to add some element for this, you need to whether know coding or to pay to implement it. All these platforms like Shopify, Wix, and others, they are made to generate money. So you can use them for free for some basic elements. But if you want to change something or to have something more stylish, you have to whether pay or to know how to code the change. And that's where web developers, they come and help. And for Wix, for example, you can create your free site, but you will not be able to choose your web domain. So it will be with Wix. And the domain name also it affects the way how your site is positioned in the search engine. So it should have your name, otherwise it will be connected to the positioning of Wix and it will go down because it will not be reliable. It will not be considered reliable. Plus, if it's free, then they will put advertising on your site, which makes it unprofessional for if you want to present yourself and there is some advertising, which you cannot even control what is going to be about, then it makes a problem. I would suggest if you want to have a site and you want to change the elements, you want to be in control on what is on the site, no advertising, you don't want to spend money on some extensions and to some extra elements to make it more stylish, then you can just spend several hours to understand basic HTML knowledge in order to, you can just download a free template of the site. You just choose the design, like any design, you download it. If you understand how it works, you just put then information about you, your images, and the site is ready. Well, and the links as well, of course. But overall, in several hours, you can just get the knowledge how to create your site, and then you can just pay for domain name. So it will be personalized for like 10 euros, and the hosting also, I don't know, for maybe 15 euros per year. So for 25 euros, you can get your site and you will be in control for all the elements. You can change it anytime, no advertising, and it's going to be for free. I mean, the usage of this design. So if you're interested, I could prepare a series of videos to teach you how to create your site in accessible and user-friendly way, for which you don't need to pay and which will be helpful for you about your coding experience and to create your personalized site the way you want. So please let me know, and please let me know whether you like this video and these practical tips. Thank you and have a good day, have a good weekend, and hope to see you during my next webinar. Bye.